All right. Mark is here again. Second podcast of the evening, making this episode number 5. Hector is here with me.
Hey, how's it going?
And we have our 2 special guests who we had on last weekend to talk about Hill House. We have Cheyenne.
Hello.
And C.
Hello.
So originally we had another person we wanted to be on this special episode of Suspiria, Emily, but life happens,
Yeah.
and so unfortunately she's not here with us. I definitely wanted to have a lot of female voices on this, but we still got 2 solid guests whose opinions I really liked last weekend.
Well, thank you.
So we're gonna go ahead and talk about Suspiria, the 1977 film. The focus of this episode is really going to be on the new one, but we'll open it up with talking about the original because a few of us have revisited it. And speaking personally, I'll say Suspiria is one of my favorite horror films of all time. Mm-hmm. I never know whether it's Halloween is number 1 or Suspiria is number 1, but they're right there. They're the tie for me. And like I said, you guys have heard me say plenty of times, I'm a visual person. That's all about the visuals. And that was one of those first horror films that captured my visual imagination. The colors, the sound design, the set design, the lighting, everything was just so fluorescent. It just spoke to me. Mm-hmm. But I have 3 other individuals here that I'm curious to hear their thoughts on it. I could speak for days about Suspiria. But I'm excited because I'm actually talking with people about one of my favorite horror films, so I'm curious about their perspectives on it. So just, you know Suspiria well, the original. Mm-hmm. How did you discover that one?
I don't remember, honestly. It was just going through like a list of all the horror movies that you need to see in your lifetime kind of thing. And Suspiria kept popping up and not even like horror movies, just films in general. Just if you're into visual films, Suspiria is the one you have to see.
That's the one you gotta watch. How old were you?
Oh, teenager.
Okay, so yeah, you were younger. Yeah. Because I was a teenager when I discovered it. Yeah, that was when I was high school when I saw Suspiria.
Yeah.
And you liked it.
Oh,
You've
yeah,
revisited
absolutely.
it many times.
Mm-hmm, yeah. It's definitely a very powerful visual film. It experiments a lot with color.
Yeah.
And expressing emotion through color. And also just the fact that it was very female dominated movie. Like there was pretty much like in total absence of men in a movie. That the fact that just women alone could carry a movie was very groundbreaking for the time.
Purely female centric horror film.
Yeah.
And there's Cheyenne, who you saw it for the first time just recently.
Yeah, just recently, a couple weeks ago, or maybe not even a couple weeks ago. So I saw the most recent Suspiria film that came out first, and then I revisited the older one because of Marcus for research purposes. And completely different experience. I mean, obviously, like the same basic theme is there, but like completely 2 different feelings, 2 different films. And for me, like I appreciated them both. I do have a favorite. I don't know if I want to say that right now, but I really, like you said, the color was amazing. And for me, it was more of like, where in the new one, I was more focused on the characters and the dialogue that was going on and really trying to like unravel the kind of strange situation that was happening. For the older one, I was really thinking like, look at this, like look at that. I was quiet the whole time. Like I didn't have any reactions. I was just really focused on like the way that every scene was depicted visually, not necessarily like what they were saying to each other. So completely different experience for me both times, but I enjoyed both of them. Yeah.
And then Hector.
Yeah, you introduced me to Suspiria.
Was that after high school?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was after high school. You told me about Dario Argento and introduced me to foreign horror, and you showed me opera as well right after that. But you showed me Suspiria, and I remember watching that, and just like you guys were saying, something visually, something with colors, the soundtrack alone too.
Goblin soundtrack.
Yes.
The
Wow.
soundtrack
is amazing.
Witches.
Yes.
Witch.
Yeah.
I want that to be my text message.
I know, right?
It's so
Witch.
good. Everybody knows what that is too.
Yeah.
You know, like if you're like a fan of horror, just that alone. But it's also something that it's different to the gore as far as American gore and foreign gore. Seeing that opening kill scene,
The stabbing scene.
yeah, with the heart bumping, and then you just see the knife go through.
All his
you know
films
what I
kind
mean?
of have that.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable to look at.
Yeah, well, because this is like you've known about this, right? And I
Yeah.
haven't. And I was you were showing me something new, and I'm just like
Taking it a
shocked.
step
I'm like,
further
yeah,
than
I'm like,
American
what the hell am I
cinema.
seeing?
Yeah.
And I'm like, Marcus is a freaky dude, but love Suspiria.
But you dug it.
I
Yeah.
did.
And you've
No,
revisited
it is.
we've revisited through the years and shit.
No, I have. It's something that you could easily go back to and just put on. It's even if it's background noise or whatnot.
It's truly one of the bad boy classics of classic horror cinema. 70s type. For those who are Blu-ray collectors, Synapse put out a great release. When did that come out? The Steel Book is. I don't think they can get that anymore. But that was that 2 years ago?
Oh, it's
2 Christmases ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the standard version on Blu-ray is fucking awesome. Check that out at Synapse Films. But yeah, Suspiria. I could talk for hours about it.
The
But
original.
and for those who don't know, it is the first in a trilogy that Dario Argento did. The second film is called Inferno. Did you see that one, Jersey?
No,
Okay.
I am ashamed to say I haven't seen the sequels.
You saw Inferno.
I saw Inferno.
You've seen them all.
I've seen them all.
Yeah,
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 then
yeah.
you and me went to go see Mother of Tears.
And then Inferno came out. That was another 80s one. Takes place in New York.
That one dragged for me.
It's a slower paced one.
Yeah,
it definitely.
drag.
It's a slow burn of a
Is
horror
it
film.
Still visually as
Oh, yeah.
like yeah
I
okay,
think
but
you-
still plays with the
I
color.
didn't think so, but I gotta revisit.
You
It's on
gotta
Shudder,
revisit
right?
it.
Is
Yeah,
on
no,
Shudder?
revisit it. The creature design for the ending with the skull. It's like an epic skull figure creature.
Well, that's what it like. I feel like the last 15 minutes is what made.
That's
the
all
whole
it is.
film,
The
right?
whole film
Yeah.
is a slow burn to the and I'm a big fan of that.
With all of for this whole genre of like just talking about the Suspiria films,
Mm-hmm.
like for me, seeing the most recent one 1st,
Mm-hmm.
and then revisiting the first one a while ago, like he kind of saves it all for the ending.
Yeah.
In a way.
Oh yeah.
I feel like all of them have like just like kind of a shocking thing happen at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Which personally, for me, I'm a huge fan of slow burn horror films, like Audition. That'd be on my top 10 of horror films, and
There you
that
go.
movie
That makes
literally is only about the last 10 minutes. It's
Yeah.
just you're chilling there like.
When's it gonna start?
But when it happens, you're just like, this is why I only need 10 minutes of that. I don't need to see more than that shit. That was worth the price of admission. I'll show you that one. It's great. Audition's fucking great. Takeshi Miike, man. I think, is that playing on Shudder? I don't know if
I
Audition
don't think
is
that's
on
playing. I don't
Shudder.
know if it's streaming anywhere. Actually.
And maybe we'll have an
Is it the
audition
same-
night.
is it the
Have you seen
same-
that one?
Yeah,
You saw Audition?
yeah.
We should do a podcast on that. I would love to talk about
Yeah.
fucking Audition. Because the special edition
I'd
comes
have
out
to-
this
I'd
week
have
on
to
Blu-ray.
rewatch
That's
it.
what I'm saying. We could have a movie night, everyone
Yeah.
watch it, and then talk about it because
Okay.
it comes out on Blu-ray this week. I'm getting a
Okay.
fucking copy.
All right,
Yeah.
maybe we can do that.
Audition is
I'd be
fucking
down.
dope. We're getting off topic.
Yeah,
It's
back to the
getting crazy.
witches.
But it's a slow burn of a horror film, and that's I personally
Inferno.
love horror films that are patient. But Inferno, yes, that's one. Yeah, that one is literally like Suspiria really grabs you the whole.
Yeah.
At least for me, it grabs me the whole film. Inferno, you have to be patient. But if you look at like me, I love Inferno because it's visually they're in New York. I love what the camera's doing in New York. It's like it's very what he's doing is very interesting. And then years and years and years and years and years later, he finished his trilogy, and I was pumped for it before it came out. I was like, dude, that's when I think that's probably why I showed you Suspiria and Inferno.
Well, yeah, it could have been, or it could have been why we saw Inferno. You showed me Inferno.
Oh, okay.
I was just like, yeah, and then we went to go see Mother of Tears, and
In Berkeley.
yeah, in the smallest theater with like maybe 5 rows in it.
Unfortunately, Argento doesn't age well. It was a rough watch. The
Yeah,
third, so much. I almost want to revisit it and just see how it is for like camp factor.
Yeah.
Like, is it a guilty pleasure? Because
Well, I know that there's that one jump scare scene
that got us
both. Yeah,
that got us.
But other than that,
The
you and me
movie's
kept
bizarre.
looking at each other like, "What
It's
the?"
bizarre.
I figured, you know what, we should smoke and watch it because
That's
we
what.
went high.
That's the
when
thing
we
is,
were
I
watching that.
haven't seen it since we saw it in theaters.
Yeah.
I have not. I own it and I have not revisited it yet.
Interesting.
So that's why that one would definitely be worth the revisit. Because yes, upon seeing the third one, that one was like, what's going on with the world here, man? People shouldn't be allowed to make shit like this. But maybe he was trying.
not
Maybe
if
there's
it's
a hidden
follow-up
message
to,
in
like,
there.
Suspiria,
Well, that's
man.
the thing.
you
I'd
can't
seen
follow it up
Suspiria
with
Inferno,
that.
and it's like, what? This is how you conclude the trilogy? Okay, whatever. But you guys haven't seen the sequels, or
No.
Okay, so yeah, okay. They're out there. They're interesting.
They're out
They're
and
interesting.
they do kind of tie in with the remake, right? They take elements from
Oh yeah.
yeah.
I mean, if they want to make a Suspiria sequel to that, which I don't think they're going to do, they
Shouldn't.
They could.
Hopefully they don't.
But I don't think they will.
You think that they should be?
I think it'd be great,
I always
but I
have
don't
a
know
hard time.
because that aesthetic that director did for this one, I think
Yeah.
is really.
Well, should we
Jumping ahead here? Jumping.
All right,
Yeah.
all right, all right.
Jump
Okay,
ahead.
all right, let's-
Let's get into
Hey,
it.
All right,
start
so,
the first question, Marcus.
Hold
Ask
on,
it.
hold on.
Come
So I
on,
just
come
a
on.
little.
Eat your
I'm giving
pizza.
some background here.
All right.
So we'll flash forward to 2018, and we were talking earlier. If you listen to episode 4, where we talk about Prodigy, we do comment on the age of remakes and stuff like that, you know. And we're now going into an age where there's going to be like the third reboot phase, like right, like you have Halloween, you have Rob Zombie's Halloween. There's multiple interpretations. There's it's not even remake anymore. They went from remake to reboot.
Yeah.
You know, who knows what the next one's. That like there's different levels of remakes now. Like we're going into the era of third and fourth remakes. So, but and in general, I'm not against remakes. I will watch them. Just curious to see someone else's interpretation of an iconic character. That's how I always look at it.
Yeah, what you don't want to see is the same thing.
Yeah.
Verbatim, shot for shot, like Psycho. Like
Yeah.
Gus Van Sant Psycho. That's not what you don't want to see. You don't want to see something like that.
So my first question would be to you guys: how, like me, I do. I will give remakes a chance because you never know. Give it a chance. How do you guys feel generally about the era of remakes, reboots, and all that? Are you guys down with it, or is that kind of like, eh?
It kind of depends on what they are remaking. I feel like there is a certain level of laziness to remakes because it's just sort of like, hey, we've run out of ideas. I can't,
Yeah.
I can't think of anything. I like this.
Let's go back into the vault and just let's grab this and retool it.
And then and then people will come see it. Because movies that already have like kind of a history to them, people are more likely to go see.
Yeah. That's true. Nostalgia factor.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
would just
So
look at sort of a marketing scheme.
It really is a marketing scheme.
It is, absolutely.
That's when it's almost
Because it already
like
has a following.
it has a following.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
They're
they're
gonna
like-
make
they're like,
they're gonna
yeah.
make a percent. They know
Right.
that they're gonna make a percent.
yeah.
But that's why that's why I always hope for. You always hope. That's why I'll see them just to see is this going
Is
to
it
be the
gonna be
one.
good?
But
Yeah.
I
And
think
then-
it all makes a difference as to whether like the people remaking the film are fans of the original, or like
Yeah.
true
That's a
fans.
difference.
Exactly.
Because you could remake something and then just make people real upset. Really upset. You know,
Right.
like
Yeah.
fandoms, it's like you'll launch something in a movie theater and they'll be outside with pitchforks ready to go.
Right. Yeah.
But then it's like if you do it well enough, even if you have just like a marketing scheme in mind, or if you're
Yeah.
coming from like a commercial standpoint, like you can make people really happy. And you even
Yeah.
if you know in your heart like this is all for money,
Yeah.
you really like think in your mind like as someone who's a part of the fandom, like they did this for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did
Exactly.
this. They did this to like relive like our own dream
Yeah.
all together as a group.
Yeah.
Like that's the scary part about being a part of a fandom. It's like you think that you're
Right, yeah.
connected to all
then
of these
and then that's the
people.
thing too, is that they could get somebody who doesn't give a shit. And
Yeah.
then they know that they're going to get money either.
50-50. 50-50.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you
So-
have a favorite? Is there, out of all the remakes you've seen, is there one that would you stand out? Where like, oh, that was a good remake.
I don't think so.
Oh,
Not that
yeah,
I can
okay.
think of. Not
I
off the
can't
top of my
think of
head.
any.
Yeah, I
Nothing
can't think of
memorable.
any that I.
What about
I
you? Do you have a
particularly
favorite?
like?
We've definitely seen a lot of the remakes of shit when it comes
Just
to
horror, just
horror in
sticking
general.
to
Yeah,
horror.
is there one example where it's like that was a success, that worked?
Yeah, I think Texas
Yeah,
worked.
that would be mine.
Chainsaw Massacre worked.
That would spawn the horror remake phase again, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Texas.
Yeah, it
Before
did.
that, I don't think there really was
They
anything.
brought it back because Amityville, I wasn't too.
That was after Texas. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was Texas was the
And
first
then
one.
Friday was okay, but then Nightmare brought it back down.
Yeah,
It
Nightmare
wasn't-
of the Elm Street
I
remake.
want to see
that was-
Texas, and then I'd have
Texas.
to see. I'd have to see what else was there. You can't think of anything else that you and I walked out of that we were just like they got it right.
I mean, I like Zombies Halloween.
Oh, the first, not like his director's cut.
The director's
Yeah,
cut
the
is
director's
much
cut
the
more-
superior
yeah.
one, but I'm happy with that one. But in general, I can admit that a lot of the remakes aren't super memorable.
Yeah.
And there's only you never know if it's going to be that Texas Chainsaw Massacre or the Thing with Kurt Russell. That was a remake of the original Black and White. It came
Right,
from
yeah.
outer space or not, or just it came from another planet.
Yeah, it's difficult.
You never
because
know.
You what it is you don't want to be lazy,
Mhm.
right? You want to put your own interpretation into
Mhm.
it as well, and you want to create something new out of what's already been done.
Yeah.
So how do you do that? And that's
Yeah.
the challenge, and not everyone can do that.
You have to find a way to be nostalgic while at the same time surprising the audience with
Yeah.
something that they want. The audience secretly, even though they don't want to think it, like, I want this to be the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what about It? Everybody enjoy It?
Yeah.
Oh,
That'd
yeah.
be
That
that'd be
was
right
a
after,
good
that would be right
one.
after
That was
Texas. That'd be my
That
number
was a
two.
good one, yeah.
I was impressed, and that one I totally walked in. I walked in with tempered expectations. I was excited for it, but
Me
I was
too.
like, Marcus, be ready to be let down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be ready.
Just because of the format they were doing.
Exactly,
it in.
everything about it. I was just like, there's that X factor. There's some, I don't know.
You know.
I don't know.
Tim Curry's not going to be Pennywise.
But then I watched it and I was blown away.
Yeah.
I was sincerely
Yeah.
blown away. I was like, this was fucking dope. And even now, I still love revisiting it every other month at least. That's one I do watch a lot. Stephen King.
Really,
said.
I've only seen it one other time.
Yeah, I love that
I
shit.
haven't revisited.
Where am I when that goes on?
You're not there when I'm putting on movies and drawing and shit. I always have a movie
that
on.
sucks. I want to see that.
I have
movie
movies
again.
on all the time.
All right.
But yeah, it's a small list, right?
Yeah.
But in all this time, I've never been against remakes. Even with Halloween, I've always been very accepting of what they put out with Halloween. It's like, because we've seen some truly horrendous entries in that series, all right? But Suspiria was the first one. That's the one where I was like, I was nervous.
Yeah.
I was nervous. I was like, this is like someone who loves Gone with the Wind, and they're saying they're doing a Gone with the Wind remake.
What?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, no, that's what I'm saying. It's met with that kind of response. Like if someone,
okay.
imagine
Like,
someone trying
what?
to remake Gone with the Wind. Like,
Yeah.
It hasn't
really?
been done yet.
No, it hasn't been
Not
done.
because
So
Yeah.
nobody will touch
everyone
it.
here agree that Suspiria is great.
that's holy
Yes.
grail
Some-
shit.
yeah.
That's
You know, like,
why would you?
why
No.
would you?
The
Why-
person
You can't-
who
why?
not here would disagree with that. But yeah, very much so.
Of
but,
the original,
you
she
know.
didn't like the original.
No, she didn't like
Yeah.
either of them. She didn't like either of them at
Well,
all.
in her defense,
Damn
what
it!
she-
See, that's what I need.
what
She's
she-
a,
what
she's
she
a film
said-
student.
I know she's a
dude.
film student.
What
I know.
she said was that she didn't feel, she didn't particularly feel the need to like talk about them, like that she didn't.
She have anything to say?
She didn't
Yeah,
feel like
she
the. Here's the thing about this. Is that a lot of the times, like, I feel like after seeing both of these movies and talking to two men about these two movies, is that a lot of the time it's marketed as sort of like this, like, feminist powerhouse.
Yeah.
Like both these movies. And in a way, I completely agree with Emily, who's not here. They're not.
Yeah, no, exactly.
They're not.
I mean, I agree as well.
They are, like, in a cool, like, creepy, like, cutthroat, like, fuck yeah kind of a thing, but
Yeah.
not in, like, a real way.
Yeah.
Not in, like, a where every woman on the planet would relate to it in some, like, creepy, horrific way. That would be dope. But, like, it's not quite that. So I think that she was maybe expecting that, and a lot of
Yeah.
people hyped it up to be that.
and it
wasn't
wasn't
that.
really that.
Wasn't
And we're gonna
that
Let
that's
down
the
by
thing.
expectations.
Yeah.
Do you want us to hold off on this?
I'm gonna come full circle
All right,
to that.
all right, all right.
I have a question about that. But-
Okay, because I've got a lot to say about
I
that
have
too.
many thoughts.
Well, let's go into it then. All right,
Okay.
As far as a female, it's a very female centric film. And you know what? Let me just give a little bit of background to this because we were talking about saying like it's a holy grail of a film.
Yes.
All right, it's
Okay, yes.
considered.
Are we
a
talking
fi-
now about the older
The
film
old
or the
one.
new film?
I'm just
The
talking
older
about
movie.
the transition
Yes.
from doing a remake of Suspiria.
Yeah. Okay.
That to me was like what I said. Like, whoa, that's like saying let's remake Gone with the Wind.
Yeah,
you know,
okay.
that's-
Yeah.
Okay.
Whoa. So I met with it with a lot of skepticism, and I looked into the background of it. So the guy who directed it, Luca Guadagnino, who is known recently because he did Call Me by Your Name.
Mm-hmm.
He directed, that was the last one he directed before this one. Prior to that, did other foreign films. It's his third time working with Tilda Swinton. They've done 2 other films together.
Well, she's a
And
fucking
she's-
badass.
Yeah,
Oh my
they have a
God.
good working relationship,
She's-
and it's actually Dakota's second time working with this director.
What did he do? What did she do?
I've never
before?
seen the movie. It's called A Bigger Splash. This guy, he does indie films. They're
Okay.
super indie.
Alright.
Like Call Me by Your Name and Suspiria. That was like his. Okay, let's give him a bump in.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
But what I did not know is the history behind this. I knew that they tried to remake this film a few times. I think I would bring it
Right.
up through the years.
Yeah,
right?
no, you told me about it to me, and I looked at you like, bro, you know, right? You're like, I don't know, man.
I wasn't ready.
I saw that in interviews with Tilda Swinton. She was saying that for years they've been talking, like close personal friends.
Yeah.
They've been talking about it, and like were either put off by certain things or like it definitely up and down type of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
What I didn't realize is that the guy who directed it, Luca, he bought the remake rights to the story back in 2008. I didn't realize it. I didn't realize this has been his passion project, and he didn't want to direct it. He bought it in 2008, and he'd been looking for directors up until about 2014. It was rumored that well, was it? They did hire him, and he started working on it. David Gordon Green, who directed the Halloween remake or the new one that just came out.
Wow.
He had started work on Suspiria, but then creative differences, budgetary constraints, the project just failed. But this guy Luca has been involved with it since 2008. So this is where I'm going into the whole.
Yeah.
You want people you trust with the subject matter to make a good adaptation or try, make a good remake. This guy has.
Look into female directors at all?
Probably
I don't
not.
know.
Probably not. Let's be
But-
real. Let's be real.
We are going to go into that. I promise you. But as far as like, he loved the Suspiria film, obviously, and he wanted to be involved with it coming to the big screen. And at first, he didn't want to direct it, but then finally, I think just because they did talk to a lot of directors, and there were female ones. There's a long list of people he talked to. This guy Luca, he never wanted to direct it.
Names.
You can look up I can get that article for you, but
All right.
that's what I'm saying. He bought it in 2008 and wanted to get that film out like quickly, but. Flash forward 2018, that finally came out.
Crazy.
Finally comes out.
Decade.
And, so that was a big fan who wanted to put this movie out. So the movie, Suspiria, 2018.
Okay.
Are you guys... Because we've all revisited... You've revisited it recently. I revisited it just today. And it's been a little bit.
Yeah, but what is it? Opening week's the last time I saw it. So
We're gonna go into spoiler territory again. That I don't give a fuck about the spoiler. All that I'm gonna tell you everything. All right.
Yes.
So just to get everyone on the same page, the setting of the film is the 70s in Germany.
A very
This
political.
is a turbulent decade.
Yes.
What they call the German Autumn. These are the things that happened during the German Autumn. There's the kidnapping and murder of Hans Martin Schleyer, who was a huge anti-communist figure, but also a person of just did a lot of innovations with like the business world and whatnot. And there was the hijacking of the Lufthansa airplane. There's like 90 plus hostages over a chunk period of time. That got sorted out with. They all survived. But then there's assassination of the Attorney General. A guy named Siegfried Duback. And
a
then
lot of terrorism.
there's a lot of fucking basic terrorism going on in this decade of Germany. Not only that, this era, the German Autumn, came after a decade plus. I forget, there's a term for it for this time in history, but it was them feeling the guilt and the reflections of World War II. For Germany, it was like a depressive fucking state, Yeah. And then all this crazy shit in the 70s happened literally right after that period of time. So they are going through it as a nation. As they probably rightfully should have. A lot of fucking horrendous... But that's neither here nor there. Neither here nor there. But there is a lot of turbulent shit going on with them. They're fragile. And at the root of that, there's a lot of decisions in that whole time of history that are made by who?
Men.
Men. So in the backdrop of all that shit that's going on, you have this story of the witches in a dance studio that is completely led by females.
Yes. And they even say in the movie, what's the quote that she says? I think I wrote it down. About how, like, they created this dance studio at a time when women were supposed to shut off their brains and open up their uteruses.
Yes,
Yeah.
I know.
That. Yeah, that was a great line.
So we have a film, which this is my opening, and then I'm open to discussion. This is just my opening.
All right.
We have a film here, and there is no right or wrong answers with this type of film. In my opinion, it's very abstract. So like, and they've already, it's open to interpretation, which is what I love about it's easy. I can admit that I love the Suspiria remake. That's me, and I like it because it's its own monster, it's its own entity, and it's open to interpretation. That's the best type of movie to me, where it's like, damn, anyone could watch this and see something just wholly unique and original than I did. You know, to me, the movie's showing the difference of war-torn Germany and what they're going through from a patriarchal perspective.
Yes.
It's being ran by men. And the other balance of the film is that there's this coven of women where everything's being ran by women, the matriarchal. What that balance means, I don't know, but I could see that.
Yeah.
This movie's about man, woman, womanhood, motherhood.
Yes.
Okay. So how did everyone feel about? How did you feel about the Suspiria remake in general? In general, did you like it?
In general, I liked it.
You liked it. Okay.
I'm gonna say that.
Yeah.
I'll say that I think the director of this, Luca, I don't know how to...
Guadagnini. I don't even know how to say
I'm on first name
Luca
basis
G.
with him. Yeah.
Luca G.
He said before the movie was released that he was making a feminist horror movie. And I think that was a mistake for him.
Yes.
I think he should not have said that. He should have just let it be. Because the reason why I liked this original Suspiria, like I said before, it was, complete. It was just women holding a film on their own. And I don't think that...
there was no real agenda there. It was just like, we have women and this is their story.
Yeah, and I don't think that was the intent of that movie originally.
Yeah, exactly.
It just ended up that way.
It ended up that way, yes. Yeah.
And I think that him saying that...
Came out the gate swinging.
Women everywhere were like, okay. And then...
Totally.
And he did... he tried, and... I love that he tried, but it was a little bit of a misguided message, I think, throughout the film.
Okay.
I think but it is important, though. I think this is why I like the film, is because it is still important for us to have films that women can carry on their own. Yeah. And that we have characters of women that are all shades of gray, not just, because
50 Shades, to be exact.
Because of Dakota Johnson. And I'll get to her.
We're going to talk about Dakota.
But, it's important just to have a horror movie, or any kind of movie. It's good that we have the biopics of Ruth Gator Ginsburgs and all of that. For sure. And the Miss Marvels and all of that. Yeah. But, it's also good to just show that because for decades we've been watching movies like this with, just men and completely absent of women that have been all those shades of gray characters. Yeah. And so it's important for us to have these movies where it's like, well, women can do these too, where we can be mostly evil. Yeah. And, not really a lot of moral characters in it. The closest we come is, I can't remember all the characters' names, but the one that, Goth is her last name.
Mia Goth?
Yeah, Mia Goth. The character she plays is like the closest we get to like a kind of a moral balance.
You're right.
Yeah. Where she's trying to be like the hero, but then she kind of fails at the end, but everything.
You touch on something, oh shit, see?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Yeah. Well, you touched on something at the beginning there that you kind of said. I get the vibe, and I'm in an absolute agreement. Is that any direct? Because I remember hearing that when he said that.
Yeah.
And this is my issue with any fucking male director.
Yeah.
That tries to say they're doing something profound for a woman's perspective or what have you, journey. I'm not interested in a male director's opinion or view that his film is for women.
Exactly.
I want to see a woman state that out the gates. Not you, dude. Like you're saying all that. That's I get that. Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. And I wish a woman had made this movie. I wish there was a female director that had the resources and the courage to tackle on something as big as a Suspiria remake, which that alone, it's like you're tackling one of the most influential, best horror movies of all time. It's like that's a total man thing. Yeah. You know, to be like, I can do this, I can do it better. You know. So and it's like, why don't we see like female directors being like, I can do this, I can do it better, and I can put a feminist
because a female 100% could have done it better.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, just from seeing it one time, there's no question about it.
Yeah.
Just from the way that certain characters were depicted and lacking in aspects that I know, putting myself in their situation, I would have been like, there's no fucking way.
Yeah.
There's no fucking way that she would have said that. There's no way she would have done that. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Even putting myself in like, okay, I'm a witch in this situation. I'm also a ballerina. But I know for a fact I wouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
I agree with you 100%.
So I have a question, because I want to hear everyone's opinion of the film. So before we go into your opinion about the film, I want to ask you guys both, because you're touching on something. What are your viewpoints from the horror films that you've seen in the past? How have you guys generally... Because I know there's only a handful of horror films now where there's a female true badass coming out the end of it. You know, the classic characters. Ellen Ripley.
I was just about to say Ellen Ripley. That's why it's one of my favorite movies is Alien.
But in general, how do you guys feel about the female's general character in horror films that you've seen?
Yeah, it's a tough...
I mean...
like...
To be completely honest, coming from someone from the perspective of not being super into horror movies my whole life, you know, if you had seen or listened to the previous podcast, you would know that I haven't been surrounded by horror or like that kind of pop culture my entire life until just within the past couple of years, really, honestly. And so...
You're welcome.
Yeah, and I had always, just from what I had seen and from what I had witnessed, the purpose of a woman in a horror film is for 100%, or, you know, until recently, visual purposes, if anything. There's very limited amount of, like, character development. They're there to be the scream queen, if you will. They're there to be the visual representation of what the director thinks. This is what being scared is about.
Yeah.
This perfect little beautiful human being completely torn and upset by this idea of pure horror and disgust and disdain. Like, that's what the whole purpose of having a woman in a horror movie has been up to this point in time. And I didn't relate to it because I personally like to, I mean, I think that I'm a strong woman. I like to think that I'm not a person who would react like that in a lot of the things that I've seen.
Misrepresentation.
So, misrepresentation all the way. It's just, in a lot of times, like, horror movies are, in a sense, like, I don't want to be vulgar, but like, the wet dream of an older director portraying women.
No, you're not wrong.
A lot of horror movies. It's all about sex. It's all about the way that, even sexual in the way that a woman screams in a movie, if you really break it down. So that was a huge turn-off for me to horror movies growing up and learning who I was as a woman. Like, I was like, you know, fuck this whole genre. Really. That's really how I felt. So but having said that, just a little bit of information, I watched this as an adult woman, this new reboot of Suspiria, who doesn't like horror movies and who hasn't been a part of this whole pop culture. And throughout the entire movie, I smiled. There were times when I would smile. And I don't know if that makes me, like, evil or if that's saying, like, something weird about womanhood as a whole, but that's just my thought on it. Just briefly.
Yeah.
Back to you.
About like my take on like women in horror movies.
Women in horror films.
I mean, yeah, she pretty much summed it up like perfectly. I feel the same way. I think my like favorite horror movies, like I said, Alien. I love the Silence of the Lambs and Hannibal because Starling is Clarice is just like the most most iconic feminist like icon. That's
blatantly even dealing with sexual harassment
at
work with her peers and shit.
And she's able to show in her character that it took real courage to overcome like these actual boundaries. That sexism is being pushed onto her in the film.
Fuck, man, I want to watch that shit.
I know.
That's
a good.
Clarice Starling has a spiritual journey in that movie. She goes through it.
She's walking down the hall to meet Hannibal Lecter, and she's shaking. She's scared, but that shows the fact that it's like no, like in her mind. She's not thinking no, like you're okay, like you're a strong woman. No. You're a detective. That's what she's thinking. And then, she's not thinking anything about who she is. Like, sex has nothing to do with it.
She keeps it together in that movie.
And then, like, later on in that film, when she, like, tells her boss, like, you can't, like, talk to me like that in front of other policemen because the way that you behave is how they'll perceive that they should behave in, like, in front of women. Yeah, that's
a powerhouse, for sure. 100% agree.
Absolutely.
And here's the thing is, I still like I said, I like the new Suspiria, and I've noticed even in the past few years, females in horror films are getting, I think, a lot more interesting and complex. And you look at A Quiet Place with Emily Blunt, she killed in that. Even the recent Halloween with Jamie Lee Curtis, fucking queen in that movie.
Jamie Lee Curtis was always, I think, in all of the Halloweens were always.
But it still it still frustrates me though, because it's like even talking about Clarice Starling, and even the great TV show that came out, Hannibal. You know that it's a great world to play with creatively, but all these fucking movies with these great female characters, but it's like, let me see a female do her take, direct a film with her vision of Clarice Starling, right? So that's something. Even though I'm happy, I like seeing where the female roles are going. It's still like, man, we're still behind though, because there should be. I think they said even still to this day in Hollywood, like the rate of successful female directors is like 7%. It's fucking nuts. There's a lot of female filmmakers. They're just not getting opportunities.
Brief thing, it's because people don't want to see that. People aren't ready for that.
Well, that's what. Well,
it's going against a real woman's perspective on life is a little bit too gnarly and a little bit too upsetting for people who even identify as, say, a man who believes in, like, the feminist movement, as a man who believes in women and their support. Like, it might at times be a little bit too much for you to handle when you think about all of the bad shit that happens to women and all the things that we actually have to overcome. The general population as a whole, they don't want to deal with that shit. They just want to go and sit down and watch a movie and have it be enjoyable. They don't want to come to terms with the fact that, like, a female director has a lot of really serious shit to talk about in her films, regardless of whatever the subject matter.
Well, that and motherfuckers, it's male dominated.
Yeah,
that's it. I don't even think I don't even think it's an ego shit. You know, there's a lot of ego shit in Hollywood, but that's why it's like it frustrates me because I see the baby steps happening. But it's like, do we really need the fucking baby steps at this point? Look what happened with the female director doing fucking Wonder Woman. She made a fucking great comic book film. Shit's inspiring. You know, Catherine Bigelow made one of the best male testosterone films with fucking Point Break. A female directed that. And we connected with it. There's not enough of that, because whenever I see a female direct a film, it's like there's something that much more special and different. You can tell when a woman directs a film. I feel like there's even a little bit more thought put into it. Like whether it's good or bad, you're touching me emotionally.
That's because
you
she
know?
has to push herself further
Mm-hmm.
than a male director.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly.
She has to bring it there even more so that she can prove herself.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's a cool balance with the remake of Suspiria. Is that
so
very female-led film, but it's still just the
I-
fact that it's the director's a male.
Yeah, but and that's the thing is that I yes, like you said, it's a baby step, and I respect the fact that it's a baby step. The fact that we have a horror movie where he was like, saying, "Hey,
that was his intention."
That was his intention, and that's fine. I still feel like he shouldn't have said that was his intention and just let the
he shouldn't have.
And it was very
Pretentious,
heavy-handed with the imagery, especially at the end there with that last massacre scene. And I love that scene. I'll just say. I fucking love that scene.
Me too.
With the dancers and the twist and the sacrifice and then the talking, the screaming, bleeding vagina that comes out of her.
That's crazy that you said that.
You give me a bleeding, screaming vagina any day. I'm like,
that was a vagina?
That was insane because that's exactly what I felt when I watched that.
I'm like, I am on board.
100%.
I remember you were just like all giddy and shit.
Because that imagery is so powerful,
and that's our reality.
And
there's fuck. Like,
and there's like no context.
Did you see that at all?
Yeah. No. There's a reason why the representation of man was a weak old man in that scene, because we can't handle that shit, bruh. We're like, fuck, get it away, go away.
It's true.
But here's the thing, though, is that I love that imagery so much because it's so powerful, but there is, like, no context behind that imagery, and there's, like, not really a message behind it. And that's the thing about this movie that makes it, like, kind of not feminist, is that there is it does not do its part in educating the audience about, any feminist morals or inequalities between.
It's a male ideologies.
Exactly.
He's trying to be abstract about womanhood, and it's like, I don't need a male director to do that. That's where I'm saying there's beautiful ideas in this film, but that's why it's almost like I loved revisiting it today. But it's like I still that in the back of my head. Yeah, it's 2018, and it's like, why didn't they get a woman to direct this?
Yeah. But even so, me and C still both really enjoy it.
That's the thing. I enjoy it though as a film, and it's just. I think that's what the movie reminds me of. It reminded me of that today. I was thinking about that after I watched it. I'm like, it's still gonna be I'll probably be a fucking old senior citizen when you see a lot of female directed films.
Yeah, I know.
Right now, it's like a handful. How often do we hear of like a female directing the film that's being pushed with like a budget? Mm-hmm. Maybe most of it's indie, but how often? That's what I'm saying.
And then nowadays they're just like they're using the female as a selling point because it's like it's fresh
and hip. They're touching the hearts here.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, remember how you're mad at us for not having enough female representation? Well, here's this movie with this female director, and we've even got like a female like writing the score and everything.
Yeah. That's what I.
So you guys don't have to hate us anymore.
For sure.
And so we've heard so far two female perspectives on it.
A lot.
I mean, you haven't seen it since theaters.
I haven't seen it since theaters.
Yeah.
But like,
what were your thoughts on it, just in general?
Well, here's the thing, dude. Like, I love Suspiria a lot. So when I heard about the remake, like, it's kind of difficult.
We were both apprehensive about it.
But I'd seen the trailer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we've seen the trailer, and I feel like I had seen a lot more than I should have in the trailer because there was like a lot going in there.
Yeah.
So I'm watching this, and I had no idea how long this movie is. This movie's pretty lengthy
2.5 hours
compared to the original.
Yeah,
the original short, to the point.
Quicker pace, the original.
Yeah,
it goes
this
by.
one, it felt old school. It felt like an old school film, and it dragged though. It dragged for me personally, but when the violence happened. For example, one of the ladies just got up from the dinner table and just stabbed herself in the neck. You know what I mean? Like,
it hits. The gore is dope in it.
The subtle touches of gore in there, like
they never explain that though.
Ooh, I have my thoughts about
that.
That's
what I'm saying. It's very abstract.
What are your thoughts on that?
It's crazy to see, like, relate to every female character in one movie in some way, shape, or form.
Crazy.
But it's like feeling the burden of that one character. Like, if you've seen the film and being like, oh my God.
She's one of my favorites.
I stand for something that nobody else is believing in. My whole life, like, if you really think about her and, like, take her character apart, it's like, I'm a witch. I know some dark, nasty shit, and I'm a part of this coven, and it's going in the direction that I'm not comfortable with. And in a way, it's like, not only is it that their career, but it's their spirituality. So it's kind of like when her whole coven, when her family, when her career all in one takes a turn for the worse, she's like, there, as a woman, there's nothing else that she can do. There's nothing that she can stand up to these people for. There's not a voice that she has. So she decides, this is my life. This is what I've dedicated myself to as a woman.
See, I'm a fist bump that one. That's exactly how I felt about that character.
I'm taking myself out.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say anything else because it's not going to change what's going to happen. And
Absolutely.
She did it in the most badass gangster way
For real.
that she could have done it in front of everybody. As if she was saying, you know what? Look what you did.
Yeah.
Look what you did.
My blood is on your hands.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And then it was so extremely powerful in that next scene where all of the dancers are in their sleep and only a few of them hear their, like, rush, sort of really panicked, like, oh my God, like, what just happened? They're rushing her through the whole building, like, as quietly as they can be, and then trying to perform that ceremony to save her. That's, like, a real, like, realistic visualization of what it would be like to be in an all-female sort of, like, coven or a cult, like, thinking, like, oh my God, like, this is my family, this is my sister, she's dying in front of me. Like, they were doing some dark fucking shit to try and bring her back to life, and it didn't even work after that. All the powers that they had, especially, like, tying that back into the scene that we saw at the very end, they can unlock some really serious, dark shit, but they still weren't able to bring her back. And that's a really serious statement to make for that character in general, that whole death. She was like, I am out. I'm out. Yeah, that was cool. That was a cool scene.
No, I love it. Like the
dug
gore.
the gore.
Yeah, I love the gore and the special effects, dude. The first death scene when the dancer's in the mirror room and she's being like torn apart.
Dakota's first dance is tearing her apart.
That was when I was like on board with this film.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like that.
I looked at her, I was like,
I've
never seen shit like this before.
This is
It got me.
creative.
Yeah.
This is a kill scene that I've never seen before.
And
You know
it's
what I
so
mean?
incredibly, like, you could feel it physically.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
painful.
they made
It was
you-
uncomfortable to
and, like,
watch.
Yes, absolutely.
The whole movie leading up till that scene was so, like,
It's a slow
starkly
burn.
different than the original. And
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I'm not on board with this.
Neither
I don't
was
like
I.
this. Everything is like.
I was
cold
quite,
and
I
dark
was
and
like, where's this all going?
I don't like
and
it.
that happened.
And then that happened, and I'm like, okay, all right.
And I thought that was
I'm in.
genius. I felt like that was purposeful because how do you? It's not an easy task to remake Suspiria.
No,
so he
man,
knew
you
that
can't.
first kill scene. Because I will say the technical side of this film, the kills, the creativity behind it, it's like, holy shit,
Yes.
like that.
Completely comparing it up to that first kill scene in the original.
Yeah.
But that's what he's saying. Like, how do you top that?
Yeah.
So for you to kind of think
'Cause that-
outside the box and come up with
The
this,
first
is cool.
Suspiria,
Yeah.
that first kill scene is still regarded as one of the 10 best kill scenes in horror. Probably in the top 5. It's always been rated very
absolutely.
highly. So
Absolutely.
you were never going to follow that up. And that's why I thought the movie would open up with a crazy kill. I really did. But when it didn't, and it's more slow pace, it has Chloe Grace Moretz, right?
Yes.
Chloe Grace
Yeah.
Moretz. It has, which we're going to talk about her performance. Right?
What performance?
But it's a slow burn to a first kill. But when that kill happens, I think it's a good solid like 5-minute scene or some shit. It's very
really
uncomfortable.
bad.
And when she
In a
pees
good
everywhere,
way.
that bothered the fuck
She
out of me.
peed and then
she's throwing up. Everything. It was
at
all
one
bad.
point, I was like, she would have just passed out from the pain at that point, right?
But then it's like it's
but
the
then
dark
she's
magic that's keeping her alive.
Yeah, they're kidding. Yeah, and then at the end of it, with their fucking scythes or whatever those things are
yeah,
called,
and then
the
they
fucking
just stab her and then carry her out.
You know what's interesting about that scene is, like, I don't know if this is actually factual or not, but from discussing it with my father is a hunter, and he knows a lot about, like, animal bones and taking apart a body. And not to sound creepy as fuck.
Your dad knows that, huh?
Yeah, my dad knows that. And like I discussed that scene with him and I showed him the trailer and everything. And those tools that they used, you know, to like sort of stab that body or just in general, the things that they used, he was like, that looks a lot like a human rib bone. Or a rib bone in general.
Oh,
interesting.
Shit.
And wasn't it like that's a biblical kind of
Yes, absolutely.
reference, like the
It's a
rib of
biblical
Adam.
reference. No, exactly. And it's a think about it. It's a female coven.
Damn.
The rib of Adam making the woman, the first woman, and having their a wand in a way. That's like a comparison to their wand.
Because that tool does come back in the film as like being very important at the
Yeah.
end with her taking that tool.
Yeah, the tool that they use
Well,
in all of their ceremonies.
a lot of the origin of the witches in the film series, the franchise, the Three Mothers. That's what it's called, the Three Mothers trilogy, the original Suspiria trilogy.
Yeah.
It's all like a history leading. It began with Eve.
Before I
Began
had
with
even
Eve.
seen the movie, I had already connected that to a rib bone because my
Hmm.
dad had told me when he watched that trailer.
Yeah.
Not that smart. So.
Yeah, when he
Yeah.
watched the trailer, he was like, "What is that, a rib bone?" And I was like, "I don't know." He's like, "That for sure is." And I was like, "Oh, damn, okay." And so going into the movie, I immediately was making those ties between like that biblical sense, as well as like just anatomy in general in the human body. That very symbolic.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting that they chose that shape to sort of represent that being like their main tool in their rituals.
I'll say another thing about this movie is that they don't sexualize the female form at all.
Yeah, I did know.
In fact, the female form is used for like horror, and I kind of like, you don't see that a lot. A lot of time in horror movies, like you see a horror scene that's like really messed up, and then like a nice chaser is like some sex.
Yeah.
All boobs, all vaginas,
All boobs,
all tits
exactly.
and ass.
Like, don't worry, it's okay.
No, this is old
and this
fashioned.
was
This is like kind of old school horror.
yeah,
in a
this
way.
was like, just the women's bodies were used as like houses of horror, and like nothing else.
A lot of like dark.
Even the dancing is like not at all sexualized. It is, the dancing is primal and powerful and animalistic.
Yeah, and you can sense that they're straining themselves.
Yes.
So much to do the things that they're doing that in a way it's almost like you're scared when they're dancing because it's like, oh my god, like they're gonna hurt themselves or they're gonna push themselves to the limit.
Yeah,
it's not about them like, I'm gonna push my ass
and
out.
that's one thing that they changed.
And you're gonna
from the original, it was ballet, which is very like flowy and feminine and pretty, and this was like modern art, which was just very, and you see that, I think that was very, that scene where she auditions for them without any
That's
of the
my
music,
favorite scene.
and she's just like pounding her hands on the ground, she's like crawling backwards, like that kind of stuff is like very, there's nothing sexual about it, there's nothing feminine or pretty about it, it's just powerful.
You can sense her perspective of art, what she's trying to symbolize when
That's
she's
also
doing
what
it.
I loved about this film is that how they incorporated dance into it, especially dance being big nowadays, and how much it's evolved, and they use that aspect to show the power of like female or her power becoming Mother Suspiria in that sense.
Yeah, exactly.
I definitely just to touch on the dancing, because I like dance films. You're like, generally I like dance films. This movie though, like, that's what one of the things I love about it is how they handle the dancing. And I want to believe, I hope it was female dancers that were choreographing it all. I'm pretty sure.
It's a male dancer.
Was it a male dancer?
Yeah, it was a male choreographer.
Okay. Damn, man. Fucking shit.
Rough.
And a male writer too.
But either way, the dancing did touch me because my mother, my mom's sister, my aunt, she's a dance instructor. She's a dance teacher her whole life, and I learned how to dance. My mom always made it very clear her sons need to know how to dance. That was something my mom was adamant about. You gotta take showers. You gotta have mint for your breath, and you have to know how to dance. So So we learned at a young age. We even did like she would choreograph dances for the public and stuff like that. And we would do that. We would train with her and all that. And I just love their representation. Like when Tilda Swinton, like even the way Tilda Swinton moves, like in that film, the way she's elegantly, the things she does with her hands and all that. It reminds me of my aunt, because my aunt, I always tell people, do you ever see how my Aunt Inez walks? Like this lady literally has like, almost like she's dancing all over the room and no one ever fucking notices. But it reminded her, and just the sound of like, it was very raw, the dancing, like I could feel like when the hands hitting the floor and sliding, her breathing, her moves,
that's what it was.
Slapping against the skin, all that. I was just like, damn, this is just so like, this is real. Like, I'll give them up to them. Like, I've seen a lot of dance films, but this shit was really fucking dope how they captured the beauty and majesty of dance. Very well done. That shit fucking blew me away.
That aspect of the film is what
really strong.
Really enjoyed, and leading up to that, like the final dance sequence to that epic scene at the end, right? You're just at the end of it going, I wasn't expecting that. Compared to the beginning of what you were into. You know what I mean? A slow burner to that ending of like, what the fuck did I just see in that last scene? Was not expecting that. So like that shock factor at the end, I think is what made me kind of enjoy the film in the sense. I didn't love it. It's not like a perfect remake, but I would watch it again. Yeah. And it sucks that I haven't since, but I would definitely see it again.
It was fun. I did enjoy revisiting it today. But one thing I do want to get your perspective on, because we definitely were talking about what these women represent, what you guys agree with and don't agree with. To me, the greatest thing I liked in this movie is how they represented dudes in the movie.
Yeah, right? Like, literally, males are the weak.
Just the fact that, like, the elderly doctor is being played by a woman, and he is an interesting character. It's like, that's Tilda Swinton's performance. But just the cops. That scene.
Oh, yeah, that cop.
When they go into the office, and then they hear the witches giggling, and they have the representation of man totally vulnerable. Totally fucking helpless.
Yeah.
I thought I was like rock and roll, man. Like, you don't need to make us look cool anymore. Man. Like, let's be real here.
No,
like,
that's it. Bottom line.
I was just curious. That was literally the only scene in the film with dudes. I was curious what you guys thought.
The first time I saw that, I was like, yeah, what's up? Like that. Like witches. That's what they do. But that's where it gets troublesome, I think, with his whole trying to be like a female empowering film.
It's very true.
Is that all of the males? Okay, so yeah, we've got those ones that they're like just fucking with for like no apparent reason. They're just trying to do their job and they're like fucking with them, which is very powerful. That's the whole, and we can get into like the whole symbolism of the witch in general and them in society, what they represent. But like, and then the whole end, the doctor scene. We'll talk about Tilda Swinton's performances, which are like amazing. But like, where it gets really troublesome is the one male character in this film, really, that's prominent. He's a good guy, and then they, kind of wrongfully, bring him into this ritual and try to punish him for
I have an opinion on that.
That he's not really accountable for. And then you have these, the young witches that were like being like tortured in their dungeon, and then they were like part of this ritual, and then they ask for death at the end. Like they just die. Even though they were also, like I was saying, Mia Goth and
Dakota?
Not Dakota. The other, what's her name?
Chloe.
Chloe from the opening. Yeah.
They were the like kind of most morally balanced characters, and they all just ask for death, and that's what they get. Whereas then the one male character was like, he gets kind of rewarded at the end for, and he's the only character that kind of gets any kind of redemption at the end.
That's interesting. Yeah.
So that's where it kind of becomes troublesome. I still think that the intent was good.
Yeah.
But
because I saw the male character, just from a male's perspective, that sounds like that's a great argument. It's a great argument.
Yeah.
Mother Suspiria destroys that coven.
Yeah.
Right.
Because the power, the abuse of power, right?
Yeah.
The abuse of power. And those are people. That's why, like, I try to look at the message of the film. What are they trying to say? Like, people in power, they abuse power.
Yeah.
And the old man, like, we knew who was bad. They died. She said, "You fucked up.
Yeah.
This is not my message.
Yeah.
I'm cleaning house."
Yeah.
And with the old man, I felt like, this is a male's perspective, but I'm like, this movie shows the great power women are capable of.
Mm-hmm.
They can handle shit. I'm sorry, but there's too many guys in this world who think that we are superior or more stronger. No, I don't believe that argument. Women are capable of just as much shit as men are. And this movie kind of, to me, it's showing that the women are handling their shit. That man, he kind of represents, like, he was from the Holocaust, a Jewish survivor or whatnot.
Yeah.
Was he a Jewish or was he German? I can't remember.
I think he was Aryan, but
And she wasn't. The wife wasn't. Yeah, that's right.
Yes, and he.
The people who abuse power, they need to be gone because they're abusing that power.
Mm-hmm.
The old man wasn't abusing power, but she did that whole message to him, like, but you were still culpable because you saw evil and you did fucking nothing. And I thought, like, I know it's a male director, but just that message, I'm just like, she just showed rage on that coven. She showed what she is capable of, but she's also capable of great compassion.
You're right.
You know, and I think women are far more better with compassion than we are.
But do you see where, like, the issue comes
No,
in?
I get that.
She was compassionate
to the man.
To the men.
Yeah, no, I absolutely
and
get that.
showed no compassion towards the women.
Toward the women, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's where it's like, at the end of the movie, I was like, this was interesting. This was good. I like it. It'd be that much more interesting if it was a woman who directed it, though.
Yeah.
I'm curious how all these scenes and themes would have played out with a female director.
And just, like, one small little detail that I think would have been changed if it was a female director was the fact that the dancers in the ceremony at the end, they woke up the next morning thinking they just had a really bad hangover.
Mm-hmm.
They were doing that, like, against their will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think if a female had directed it, it would have been that they were all in the coven and they were all in on it. Like, why did they have to be, like, forced?
It's a huge oversight because it's a male director.
Yeah.
It's funny. I watched this documentary on Shudder. It's about the African inclusion in horror films. It's a documentary about African Americans in horror, the genre. Mm-hmm. And I never saw. That's an interesting perspective you bring up there because they bring up Candyman. They all like Candyman. Mm-hmm. But they're like, but the reality is that Candyman in his backstory was killed by rich white people.
Yeah.
There's no way in hell in that because in the Candyman film, he's killing, like, other black people in the slums. It's like, they're like, Candyman wouldn't do that. He wouldn't kill his own people. He'd be going across the bridge over there to the rich communities, fucking haunting those families.
Yeah.
And it's like, and that's because, hey, did a black guy direct that film? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think it was a black guy. But that's if you have the right people making the film, it's that the people who are the source material. Candyman's a very African American story. Like, have them make that film. Suspiria is a very female centric film. Have the females have their perspective be the stamp on Suspiria.
Mm-hmm.
So
and then we can talk about the whole, like, what witches kind of represent in society, you know, like the whole lore of witches, which is what
it's a very rough history.
Well, I mean, it just
males are scared of it.
Yeah, witches are the representation of everything that males fear in women.
Yeah,
it's very true.
Because it represents, in a way, at the very core, female strength.
Yes,
That's
absolutely, and that's it. And they're just like, oh, if you give females power, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And they make up the
female unity. Right?
Yeah, female unity.
Yeah.
Like, look at, and then they're like, and then the witches happen.
Yeah. It's very true.
Yeah.
All right.
Which is why I love witch movies so much, knowing that that's where they kind of come from.
So that's a lot of the themes of the film.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There's a lot you could talk about. You know,
Yes.
the whole feminist movement and all that. There's a lot to say about the themes in this film. But now it's just visually, because we've all talked about the visual, and it has like a very...
It's the completely opposite of the original
Yeah.
movie. It's
100%.
There's no primary colors or anything like that. It's very...
bold and...
I was personally very pleased by it.
Mhm.
As a person, I guess because I saw the new one before I saw the old one. And in a way, I feel bad. You know, it's one of your top 10 movies of all time. Having seen this movie as opposed to the first one, I almost thought that the first one was like, okay, like this is for artistic purposes. Like this is fun. You know, this is like enjoyable to watch. But I really thought that, and I even told you, after watching that movie, the dialogue was hard for me.
It's dubbed, that's why.
Well, the women talking to each other, the relationship that they had with one another.
I wrote that down in my notes.
I did not feel it the same way that I felt when I watched the most recent one. And I really just, it touched on so many, like, feminine fears. And
the recent one you're talking about.
The most recent one. Fears, insecurities, things that we can do that aren't necessarily acceptable to talk about. And just by them communicating with one another, regardless of how the movie looked, that's what I really connected with. I was like, okay, like, even though what we've already discussed with the fact that it shouldn't have probably been labeled as like a feminist powerhouse of a movie, I felt way more invested in the characters and where they were going as opposed to the first film. Definitely two different vibes. The first movie for me was fun to watch. The second movie for me was something to contemplate. So that's two completely different vibes.
Well, I like what you mentioned about the connections in the recent one with the female characters with each other. I love, because like I said, I don't have a final answer for this film at all. I think it's just a lot of good ideas packaged in a beautiful looking package, you know, but it's very scattered. It's very abstract.
Screaming, bleeding vagina.
Yes.
Imagery.
But one of my favorite scenes is the scene, I forget, it's after one of the dances, but Tilda Swinton goes into Dakota's room. And first they're talking to each other through their minds, but then she sits on the bed and they hold each other's hand, and then they're physically talking.
That's a real thing that happens.
And that's the thing I was gonna say.
I don't know if you know
the way
that,
I read it, that's what I want. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
I thought it, because I've always had that belief. I think women, when they look at each other, they understand things that when I look at him, I don't know what the fuck is happening with him. I have no idea.
Why do we always ask each other, what do you want?
Yeah, we literally.
Is that why women think that we can do that too?
We can't do that shit.
Read your mind.
Because we don't fucking care.
Listen to you. Women don't think that men can do shit.
That's what I'm... Okay, that's what... So what I loved about that scene is that, like, to me, I'm not a woman, but, like, I understood that. I was like, that's a very beautiful moment, because it doesn't even have to be supernatural or witchy. It's just... They're looking at each other, and everything they want to say to each other is right in each other's physical expression, until finally they only need to say to each other what they need to say to each other, you know? And I thought that was fucking beautiful. And another movie that I thought did that well was Split. At the end of Split, when the girl, she gets out of the cave and all that, and she's in the back of the police car, the female police detective looks at her and says, "Your uncle's here." But then the girl just keeps staring at her, and you can tell there's a small moment in that cop's expression, and she's a female cop. She totally understands what this girl's about to tell her. I thought that was fucking beautiful. And again, in this film, I love that moment, because I'm like, you captured something that's totally female-centric. Like, I will never understand that. You know,
and
I'll never get that.
I thought that was the moment where Dakota, like, realized that she's Mother Suspiria.
Or you could look at it that way.
That's how I look at it. Like, that's just me looking at it like that.
Yeah, that is true.
Well, you guys brought up something a little bit earlier, that scene where the witches were sort of like taunting these police officers that come, and they're like sexualizing them and they're abusing them in that way. And then you were saying that was the part of the movie that became very problematic. And I agree with that. One, because I can tell that it was from a male's perspective, because it sort of goes without saying. Here is this every woman can relate to in a way where I don't care who you are, who's listening to this right now, you've been made to feel very uncomfortable by one man in your life.
Yeah.
Yes.
In a place where you feel danger, in a place where you feel scared, where you're sexualized, where you're this portion of like sexual discomfort that is so like an essence of what it means to be a woman that it's so hard to express. Like I can't even talk about it right now. Like it's like almost to the point where as a woman a part of sex is violence. And that's why like this movie is like kind of captures that in an essence visually, not really like as part of the dialogue, but at least visually, like you said, screaming vagina all the way. I get it 100%. But you're right, when that scene takes a turn where it's like, I don't know if I'm completely for this, because like as a feminist looking at this from that kind of lens, it's kind of thinking like from a male's perspective, an eye for an eye. As a woman, as
absolutely.
a woman, you've been put down, you've been put in this situation, so guess what? I'm gonna make a bunch of witches like use their wands to basically mutilate a penis and laugh about it while they're doing it. And in a way, like as a woman, that still made me very uncomfortable watching that scene because being a woman, you're very empathetic to all people. You don't want anyone to feel any kind of discomfort ever. So it's kind of like that's not really a part of being a feminist. You don't want other people to suffer the way that you've suffered. You want people to just not suffer at all anymore. So that's definitely like from that male perspective, like, you know, let's even out the playing field. Let's do some
hell
gnarly...
hath no fury like a woman scorned.
Exactly. And that's a falsehood. That's a falsehood because women as an essence as a whole, if you really dissect what it means to be a woman, it's like suffering without any kind of like putting that energy back out into the world, like being a mother. Going back into like the original theme of the movie, like Mother Suspiria, these witches are known as mothers to their covens, but also to the planet. They're not there to put out that energy into the world, and that's why she takes them out in the end because they're doing that kind of shit,
abuse of power,
and they're putting that energy back out into the world.
And Mother is a very a strong theme in this movie, kind of overly so, where he's kind of beating you over the head with it a little bit. And there's even the whole like her mom back home, like the abusive mother and all of that. It's very that again. That's
a whole other thing.
The backstory to the main character was a trip on this one.
And they don't really dive into it fully, but it's like again, I feel like that's a very male.
See, that's the stuff I definitely don't understand.
Of like, like an abusive mother.
Almost to the point where he did it and he didn't understand the effect that it actually has on women as a whole. Like what I said before, where like every woman associates some part of her sexuality with violence. I don't care who you are. Like that's just how it is. Being a woman. And he took it there with that like representation of like this mother might have done. They suggested that in the film that she might have done some weird fucked up things to like her daughter's like sexuality, like when she like catches her masturbating in the closet, and then it's kind of suggested that she does something weird like that, and like that's
and again, I feel like that's kind of a male.
It's a stretch. It's a stretch. It's a weird association.
Like, of like an abusive motherhood that he doesn't really quite.
It's not good psychology.
He can't possibly understand what it would be like to be, first of all, in the role of the mother, in that situation, let alone the character that he's trying to represent.
Right, exactly.
So it's kind of like a very like, ooh, like this is an interesting idea to dive into.
Yeah, but let's just touch the surface of it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing. I think they're
not go any deeper.
I think it's like you said, where he's kind of trying to beat you in the head over it. The movie is incredibly just thick with layers and layers of interpretation and even conflicting ideologies in certain scenes. But I did, and I'll bring up another moment just to see what your guys' thoughts were on it. At the end of the film, I really love the scene, even though I get your guys' perspective, like why did she show compassion to the guy and whatnot. And I think they made it a creative, artistic choice to have that man being played by Tilda Swinton. It's like a weird tightrope walk that they're doing through that film, with her casting as the main focus of the main male lead. But what I like in
Yeah.
what I like in the dialogue of that scene is when Mother Suspiria is telling this old man, telling her how his wife died.
Mm-hmm.
Said like she wasn't scared. Mm-hmm. She was surrounded by women. And they gave her strength, and her only final thoughts were of you.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was beautiful because I'm like, right there tells you the strength of women when they unify, I believe, is a universal truth, that the power of women together overcomes even the most basic fear we all have, death. You know, if you're put in a situation, women... we always put in this culture of ours, you go to the man, but it's like, I don't know, man, like, from my own perspective, from my own personal life, thanks to my older brother, I've met women who are fucking badasses, man, that are fucking mothers, that are fighters, that handle their jobs or go to school, that are just fucking kicking ass. And I'm like, respect, man. Like, there's some fucking strong women out there. And I just like that message of just like the power of women. I thought that was a dope little, it's such a small line. It's so... So minimalist, but it's like that's a cool little touch. Yeah.
I have thoughts on it. Do you have any?
I really enjoyed that scene because I feel like it really represented, I guess, the best part of what he was trying to portray as like a feminist film, where he was trying to say like this higher being, this female energy has the power to destroy you, but let you live. And let you walk away from this terrible situation. And even though things have happened in your life that make the scores a little bit different, you know, the whole man and woman hierarchy, she still went to his home and she said, I want to apologize for my children. From this perspective as a mother, like, I'm coming to you, like, I know that you are a weak man. Truly, I know that you have been through some things, and so I'm going to tell you, I'm going to use my power to tell you something that is going to make you feel better. And that's, like, the true meaning of what it means to be a mother, is to protect people, to make someone feel better. That's really what it means to be a mother, to be a caretaker. And that's after everything. She fucking kills people in the most gruesome way. And then she goes in there with a nice little outfit. She walks up into his apartment. His caretaker's there. She's like, go outside, please. And she goes right outside. And she sits down on his bed and she tucks him in and she says, this is the secret that you have always wanted to know. Can you imagine that? As just a person individually, that one thing that you've always wanted to know your whole life, she grants that to him. Even though he might not have even deserved it. She still gave it to him. That's like the true meaning of what a mother, the thing that she was representing. One of the three mothers of planet Earth. That's what kind of this is like suggesting. So that scene was very interesting to me.
No, I agree. Yes, that's definitely, When I first saw it, I feel like that scene, where that line in particular where she says, you know, your wife died surrounded by women, I feel like it was kind of the same as like the screaming vagina. It was very nice imagery. Without a lot of context or message behind it. It was just kind of thrown in, being like, remember, it's a feminist horror movie. It's not just a horror, it's a feminist horror movie. And like I had said before, it was like, it seems like, why was the male the only one that got any kind of redemption or closure in this movie? But yes, everything that Cheyenne just said, like it was showing the motherly side. I still kind of feel like though it was a male's perspective of a motherly.
At the end of the day, that's why I think the movie, it just has so many glimmers of good ideas.
Yes, just not quite fully.
It's not fully realized because it's a dude. It's a fucking dude.
Yes.
And this is one of one of the major themes in this film in general is the abuse of power. You obviously got what's going down in history outside those doors, but then you also have this other side of abuse of power in this coven with some of the witches. And I there's no right or wrong answer. I was just curious of just the argument. Like right now, It's like a lot of men are in power.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna get got by some fucking covens.
But
in the United States.
What are your guys' thoughts on the argument? Like, I tend to think power corrupts absolute. You never know, a man or woman. But this is the first time where we really see this representation of like men, patriarch outside these walls, female. What was your guys' thoughts on just the power struggle, like the abuse of power? Like, did that seem reasonable to you guys, or were you like, maybe it wouldn't be that bad? I don't know.
So, are you like talking about like within the coven?
Within the coven, it's just power. Does men corrupt men? Does power corrupt men more or females? Is it the same? You guys think? What would be?
If you bring in the structure of the film, like we were talking about in the very beginning, like the political background of the time they're supposed to be making the film in, it's a very, in a way, almost I feel like he was meaning for the outside world to be very bleak, masculine in a sense, like that sort of raw, like war power that is associated with men. And I think that he brought that to life with like a little bit of color within the female spectrum of like being within a coven. And that last scene is a huge representation of those two worlds like going head to head. And that male character, and they let him live and they let him be a witness. And if you really like recall, it's like technically speaking, they needed him for the spiritual. They didn't go into details of exactly what they needed for what their like the actual rules of what they were trying to do within like the dark magic world, but they needed a witness there, like someone who they knew would be so weak after the experience that they wouldn't be able to speak on it afterwards at all. And they chose that man. They chose a man to do it because they knew that there's no way that he would be able to comprehend what even just happened. And they sent him after that whole morning. They were like, okay. They walked him out the door and they were like,
walked him out the door.
Bye, bitch. Walk home.
Walk your ass home. No taxi, no nothing.
They straight up tooted him.
That is hella. I did
All
notice
the way.
that. Just nicely while she sang him a little song. Get the fuck out
Yeah,
of
they
here.
were like, it's okay, don't worry about it. Get the fuck out of our property. But, like, that to me was, like, a huge, like, the feminist portion of the movie where they were like, here's, like, this huge masculine-dominated world outside of this little sphere of a very tense feminist bubble inside. And the power of that bubble reacting to the outside world, just that one man coming in there and just being so, like, ugh! Like, his life just being changed from that point on almost killed him. Even touching it, even being present for one small portion of it.
Yeah.
That was... What? I'm just saying, that was that going head to head.
Yeah.
And obviously,
and
whatever you want to interpret it from, we obviously knew who won in that situation. So, like, those were those two energies going head to head, and that was the reaction.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to interpret from that.
Yeah.
That's good. So, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day,
Can we talk about like the performances?
Oh yeah, performances.
Real
I was gonna go. Yeah, okay, performances. Shit, man.
Okay.
First off, Tilda Swinton should have been nominated.
Yeah.
Her and Toni
can't
Collette
believe it.
from Hereditary this year.
I can't believe
they got
didn't
shafted.
get nominated.
Yeah.
They got shafted.
Just
both.
because they were in the horror genre.
That's
all
why
the way,
both those
100%.
like Toni Collette and Tilda
Toni
Swinton.
Collette
I thought
deserved at least one.
it's bullshit. Fuck all
Yeah.
that shit. It don't mean nothing.
Yeah.
Tony Collette was amazing.
But
That's
Tilda
a little
Swinton
anything, but
generally. She was
I mean,
so good in
yeah,
it.
like
Tilda Swinton played 3 roles.
3 roles in this movie. And okay, let me just say, like, when I went into this movie, nobody had spoiled that for me.
I'm glad.
I know.
remember I asked you, does
I
anyone
know.
spoiled anything for you? No? All right.
yeah,
good.
yeah.
I knew it when I saw that
And-
character first come on the screen. I knew,
Oh, you knew it?
that was
So-
her.
Yeah, you get the
See,
prosthetics.
I
I knew something was up with that.
So-
Carry
see,
on,
okay,
yeah.
hold on. Because I watched through the whole thing, and the only thing was, like, I was like, there is something up with this dude's face. The wrinkles look a little too, what do you call
Fake.
that?
I don't know. Like, yeah.
Yeah, they were too wrinkly.
Yeah.
His face
like
was a little
plasticky,
too
very,
like there was
chicken
something up with his face, but
Yeah.
I totally got lost in the film.
No, yeah,
I didn't question it again.
question it. No,
And I
no,
brought it
no.
up to Bo after we came out of the theater. I was like, there was something up with that guy's face. I don't recognize that actor at all, but there was something up with his face. And Bo was like, I didn't really notice his face, but there was something up with his voice. Like it was almost like dubbed over.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe it was like homage to the original movie or something. And I was like, oh, I didn't even really notice the voice.
Yeah.
And so then I went home and I started like looking at like
into it,
reviews
and then you
and
saw,
stuff.
yeah.
And then I saw I was like there and I was like, how did I go through that entire movie without realizing that was Tilda Swinton?
And that's why she
And-
deserves a nomination.
That's what I'm saying.
I know.
I knew
It was-
going in, and I
yeah.
still love the
She
performances.
played
I
it
was like,
So
in
now-
all
now when
three
you-
of those characters, it was like,
Yeah. So now when you say
Powerhouse.
you knew it was her, did you
Yeah.
had somebody spoiled it for you?
no.
No, you just figured it out.
Yes.
Ah!
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I knew going in. I knew
You
her
knew going in.
performances, and I was
Okay.
like, yeah, let's see
It was
what this
that
is all
instant,
about.
like, I don't know what it was, but it was sort of like, I guess the feeling of the character in a way. Like, it seemed a little bit
See,
too...
no, here's the thing, though, is that the woman that stabs herself in the neck,
Yeah.
I thought that was Tilda Swinton for some reason. I was
She
like,
had a
that
weird
was...
face. She had a weird face.
She had a weird face. I thought, like, I turned to Paul at one point, I was like, that's Tilda Swinton right there. He's like, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, she killed it.
Yeah.
She killed it in that movie. But then they got your girl in there.
And then, oh, yeah, no, yeah.
Your girl Dakota.
Okay.
That's not your girl.
Yeah, no, I hate her. No, I don't hate her. I don't know her personally. She might be a lovely person, but
She doesn't seem like it.
she... I know, you had, like, the best quote about her when you and me were, like, talking. I don't know if you want to...
What did I say? I don't remember.
You said that, like, she just has this vibe of, like, somebody who might, like, have somebody locked in their basement and, like,
Yeah.
fucks their brother.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
She
like,
probably...
in real life.
in real
But,
life. Totally.
but as an actress, she...
Bless you.
bless you.
Sorry.
She delivers every line like she's reading it.
Yeah.
And that it really upset me during this film. Like there's that line where she was like, actually I was thinking about how it might feel when you fuck. And she says it just like that, and it's just like, I'm just like, why did you say it like that? Like, and oh no, there's that other line where she's like, a girl asks her where you're from, and she's like, Ohio. And she says it just like that, and I'm like, why did you say it like that? I don't like you. And she's just like completely like dead behind the eyes and just like emotionless. And I just feel like this movie would have been way better if they had gotten a better actress.
But then towards the end, like the whole, she's like playing them.
But
Like she's like, she's acting like an idiot.
But
Throughout the entire thing until the last like 30 minutes.
she's still not really acting though, even after she's, Mother Suspiria.
Yeah, I
feel
know.
like she's still just reading lines.
Yeah, you might be right about that.
I will say, like, I am definitely... This is where I'm curious to see where her career goes now. Because prior to this, all she had was the 50 Shades of Grey shit, which I still to this day have not been able to sit through the first film.
And it's like she also has famous parents.
She comes from somewhat Hollywood royalty, B movie Hollywood royalty.
And it's just like she just keeps getting these roles because she's hot. And she does look good naked. She does have a really great body.
Oh, fabulous.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like and like her dancing, probably half the time it was a body double, like doing her dancing.
Apparently,
roles.
I mean,
No, that was all her.
It was her.
It was all
Yeah,
her.
it might have
Okay.
been one
Perfect.
scene because she
Then-
does come from
then-
a dancing background.
Okay,
Yeah.
well then there you go. Like she's a good dancer.
It's
That's why she got the role. Because physically, yes, she was good in the role, but performance-wise, she can't deliver.
I feel like she's like that in all her films though. Like she can't deliver. She's
Yeah.
just that's just how she is.
but in a way, that must be like some sort of new age like director thing and that's going back to like the weird like wanting to cast a female role that brings something to the table physically that the director wants, but still remaining dead in the eyes.
Yes.
You don't have a brain. Don't try and tell me that you have one at all.
Yeah.
I want you to be here. I want you to look good. And I want you to say exactly what I write down, and that's it.
And there's a vagina in your chest.
Yes. That's screaming and bleeding.
Screaming and bleeding.
No,
Bring it to me in the end, baby. But
Just sit
else.
there with your eyes closed and just look up.
Yeah,
Do
Yes,
that.
yes,
Absolutely.
exactly.
Absolutely.
Because even when that screaming, bleeding vagina was in her chest, she just was like, just dead.
Dead. No
in
emotion.
the face. Yeah, no
Nothing.
emotion. Like, look like there's a bleeding, screaming vagina in your chest right
But if you want to really psychoanalyze it, is that like what a screaming, bleeding vagina would be?
now. just a
Completely like
void of emotion.
I am completely. I am done with this shit. I have no more feelings in this regard whatsoever.
Comedian.
Hands down. Cheyenne's
Comedian.
best
She's about to go viral.
No, it's true.
Yes.
It's true. It would probably, if I were a screaming, bleeding vagina, at this point in time, it's been what, 1,000,000 years since this shit has been going
Right.
down? I would be about done. So, in any way, she's the best.
Show some emotion. This is emotion.
It's like her, truly. Truly.
That's what I was gonna say. I
Yeah.
totally agree with everyone. Her physicality in the movie is really good. I was kind of blown away by the physical performance of what she did. Line delivery, yes, there's much to be learned. I will say though, I finally did see a movie where I thought she did a really good job.
Which one?
Bad Times at the El Royale.
I didn't like her in that.
I really liked her in that.
No.
I thought that was a
So
great
what?
movie in general.
I think her cameo on the Social Network is her best work.
Social
That's it.
But I'm curious to see what she does. 'Cause it's all about, you know, the director you work with. But this one, yeah, the physicality, I was kind of blown away by what she... Because I did read that, like, it was her who did all her own dancing. And I was like, that shit right there,
She
like,
comes from a
cannot be
dancing
easy.
background.
Yeah.
Just that
That's dope.
audition scene was.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's kind of like, those scenes, like, they had... You know, I was at attention. I was like,
Striking.
Yeah, they had
fuck.
power.
Striking.
You know, it's intense. It's
Yes.
raw. You know, it's like... Those dance numbers were dope. They were dope. Which I did like that whole message in the film. Just the physicality that women are capable of.
The
That's
physicality
when
of being a woman.
Yes.
That you have to exert that much of yourself even to survive in the world. And that's like what the Coven was about.
Yeah.
That like they had talked about, like, we built this in the war.
Yeah.
Like we brought this, and they didn't tell that to the dancers obviously, but they were kind of insinuating like our power as witches brought us through this.
Yeah.
And we're not gonna change this dance just
Yeah.
because you're some new age little bitch that comes in here.
Yeah.
We've been here for a long time and
Yeah.
we've been doing this shit as women.
And it's been
For a
gotten us
long-
through this.
And we've
much
gotten
shit.
this shit done. And that's like why I think it's so important that like being a dancer is a part of this film.
Oh, yeah,
because they have to
absolutely.
give themselves
The
over
dancing is
physically to
so important
everything.
in this
Yeah.
movie. It
And
really
flow.
shows, and that's what also when you realize that this movie is going to be visually up to par with the original.
It's
is
its
with
own
the
thing.
dancing.
Yeah, it really
that it has
makes it its own visual.
yes.
Well,
But
even
watching
the
it-
original had male dancers, which is
Yeah.
kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had male
I
ballet
noticed that.
dancers.
Yeah.
And then like this new
There's
one did,
glimpse-
it's all female.
Glimpses of it.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, and then they disappear or go away or whatever
Yeah.
happens.
I thought that was interesting too. When I just recently saw that one, I was like, "Oh, that's a dude."
Yeah.
It's in there in the mix.
He's in there. He waves over the like
Wait,
banister,
and you know what?
And then he like goes away.
I'm not gonna lie.
forever.
I'm not gonna lie. When I first saw that, like in my mind, I was like, "That's weak energy."
Yeah. Oh yeah. No.
Yeah. All
That's
the way.
weak energy.
All the way.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't into it. I was like,
The way he waved. How'd he do it? What'd you do?
yeah. He was like, you could tell that.
Didn't he
was
blow her a
not-
kiss later
Yeah,
in the
he
movie?
was-
Too?
And she's
Yeah,
like,
and the thing is, that's all his character was there to represent. Wait,
Yeah.
can we talk about in that first movie, like the representation of like the secret room?
yeah, how it was. You had to you get into a vagina
Yes.
to get into it. The
Yeah.
flower, the
The iris. Is
the
that what
iris,
it was?
the iris. The was it a blue iris or
Yes.
purple?
And you know what's crazy is when I was like thinking about it historically, like just because I'm super into like like old medieval literature.
Yeah.
And when you think about the iris, like historically, it's always symbolized being a lesbian.
Yeah.
Always throughout literature.
Yes, absolutely.
And they use that flower specifically to say women's only, bitch.
Yeah, right.
It's a European film.
Yeah.
If you
You gotta touch the iris.
If you can touch this flower the right way, I'm a genie in the bottle. Gotta rub me the right way, okay, honey? Like, that's what that flower was all about.
Absolutely.
That's what that was there for.
I'm learning so much. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, truly. Immediately when I saw it, I was like,
I know, yes, absolutely. And then she has to go to like a doorway and then down the hall to find.
She opens it up and then she leads herself down the hallway. Truly, I literally was like, we're in the vagina.
Yeah.
We're here now.
Exactly. And then there's all women.
Yeah. All the women there, and that. First of all, though, that final scene actually blew me away, the same as the remake did. It's because that demon voice was intense.
Yeah.
What are you doing here?
Yeah, that voice shook me.
Yes.
Shook me to the core. She's like, you think you can kill me? I was like, whoa.
Yeah, exactly.
I really didn't think she could do it.
I do feel like there was like a feminist message behind the original film. It was just at a time where he couldn't say that that's specifically what it was, and he couldn't market it that way. Of
maybe
course.
he didn't even know that that's what it was.
I don't know though, because it just seems like there were so many things, like with the iris.
Yeah.
And all of that.
He knew what he was doing with that movie.
I feel like he did know.
He did. He'd already done like that. I think that was Dario Argento's 5th film. He did 4 thrillers prior to that, but this was like his first supernatural horror films because he was known as like, they call it giallo horror. It's like mystery horror, noir, European noir.
Yeah.
And that's what he was known for. You watch his first 4 movies and even some of the ones after Suspiria, they're really interesting whodunits.
Yeah.
And then it leads up, it always opens with a grotesque murder, always ends with a grotesque murder, but then the mid chunk of the movie, you would probably like them. A lot of the classic, it's just a mystery thriller, and you're really invested in the characters.
Definitely more of a mystery.
When he hit Suspiria, that was the height of his powers, and I don't think he's ever done anything as strong since. Is that he just was firing on all sorts of like themes, and it's just like this new one. It's just there's a lot of shit layered in there. There's a lot in there. It's open to interpretation.
The folklore that set everything up. It was almost like a storybook. Even the way that it was represented, the way it was told.
It's like an adult fairy tale.
Yeah, as if like the witches in the most recent remake were to have a book to represent where they came from. And they were.
Exactly.
That's cool.
Yeah, they could look back and look in that story exactly how it was represented and say, that's our history. That's how it's supposed to be. And then they're like, we're living in the present day now, dealing with this very like contemporary issues, dealing with this like modern day feminism.
Yes.
And all of this like really crazy energy combating with that like essence of what is actually there with them. Their witchery, if you will. Witch. Yeah, definitely. It's like they're like talking about like terrorism and talking about feminism and talking about, being lead dancers, and then in the background from everything, it's always witch. Like they're right there. Just the underchord of everything. It's very cool. Very cool. Yeah.
So I guess before I close it up, then just the final thoughts. I mean, you could say something about the original or the new one, but were you guys general consensus? How did you feel? Strong films, interesting. How does it fit in the horror? Especially for you, you have some history with the horror genre. Is it a shit film, or is it like, okay, there's some merit there?
There's definitely some merit there. I like I've been saying, I think that it's great that he tried. Oh yeah, no, I own it. I bought it as soon as it came out.
Yeah.
I watched it in theaters, and I was like, I'm all about this. And I went into it being like, how dare you like remake this movie? Like it's the original is one of my favorite horror movies. Like, how dare you try to redo this? And then I went into it and I was like, okay, this is all right. And I bought it immediately. So
not bad.
Yeah, not bad. I would like to see a woman make the sequel.
Maybe in a decade.
Yeah, or remake the film or do the sequel. And that's why we were saying at the very beginning.
That's why I'm not sure if they're doing it, but that'd be cool.
If they do the trilogy, I want a woman to take it over.
That would be badass.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
As someone who has not been a part of the horror world, but deeply enjoyed this movie, as someone who connects heavily with like creepy medieval literary horror, I was very pleased with this movie. Which is surprising, especially if you're someone who doesn't like scary movies regularly or who doesn't go out of their way to see scary movies. Like you said, when we first watched that movie, the first 15 minutes in, when that crazy gnarly shit went down in the dance room, Marcus looked at me and he said, "We can go if you want." He said, "We can go if this makes you uncomfortable." And I looked at him and I was having a great time.
Yeah.
I was so happy with the representation of like just some gnarly, gruesome witchery occult shit that was going on. So highly recommend.
I was worried.
I enjoyed it a lot. That's my take on it.
Obviously, fan of the original. Love it, just like everybody at this table. Not gonna top it, obviously, but when I walked out of it, I did enjoy the idea that I did see something different for an original concept. You know what I mean? Like I can't argue with the fact that that's it wasn't shot for shot. There's a story here. We have witches. We have a covenant. And then let's go ahead and throw all this in there as well. A little too lengthy for me, to be honest with you.
Too long,
like a horror film.
They could have cut out like quite a bit, all the political
the origin,
stuff.
the origin, like her backstory about like I didn't need that really.
All the flashbacks that were like basically
bizarre.
Just like throwbacks to the original
Bizarre
film.
choices.
I could have done with more.
There
I'm being
you go.
completely honest with you. Go
No,
big or
it's
go
good.
home.
That's
Go
how I
big or
felt.
go home.
Yeah. Because I didn't know what it was setting up. You know what I mean? Like coming in the beginning, you're watching it, you're this, and then but that ending, you're just like, damn, okay. So I mean, I am gonna watch it again. I probably should buy it.
Yeah. Yeah. No. In general, I did really like it. I would have liked to see more. Yeah. I really like the world they created. A lot of my issues are just rooted in that. Like, it'd be nice to see a woman direct this film.
I agree with that.
But the movie itself, because that original, man, that will always be like, I don't know what's my favorite horror film, Halloween or Suspiria, but shit, that's a tie, But that movie always spoke to me. My favorite color is blue, and I think it pretty much came because of the blues in Suspiria. That's what I can equate that to. But I just love the look. What is it better than the original Suspiria? Fuck no, not in my opinion. I will probably watch the original Suspiria more times in my lifetime than I do this new one. But I did think a lot of the ideas in it were beautiful. There's some really like, this dude's heart is in the right place. That's all I can say. He's not trying to say bad things about women. It's just like you're not on point because you never will be on point. No male filmmaker is going to capture a female's heart and soul. No.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but the intention's there, and it's still baby steps right now, but we need more female inclusion in film and in horror, and we need more better representation. That's why I'll recommend to all our listeners right now, if you have the Shudder streaming service, watch Horror Noir. It's a great documentary on how African Americans are represented in horror films. And that's still an ongoing process, Get Out, fuck,
Didn't
man.
you
That was
also just watch a horror movie directed by a woman? Saw you.
Shit.
Yvonne something.
Oh boy.
Shit. Sorry. Okay.
What was it about?
No, I don't know. I saw you post it, and it was just like, shit. Fuck. Never mind. Don't listen to me.
Either.
There was Love Witch is a good horror movie that's done by a woman.
I do want to watch that. I have not seen that yet.
Watch it.
I got that. I have that one.
It's really good. Yeah. It's not like a scary horror movie, but it's
a female
perspective on the witch thing.
On the witch thing. Yeah, that's true. Fuck,
I'm here for that.
Oh, dude.
I love witches.
Oh my God. We will find this movie and
You know,
watch
I
it.
almost brought my hat tonight.
That would have been it. Why didn't you?
I forgot. I forget everything.
You forgot your notes, you forgot your hat, you forgot to watch the movie again.
Damn it! Don't call me out, Hector. God damn it!
But in closing, I guess it's a movie that's open to interpretation. We all had opinions on it. That's fucking great.
Yep.
And it's a film that's led by women. It's fucking great. And hopefully this spawns. I think horror is going to see a lot of changes in the coming years.
Yeah,
Jordan Peele, especially doing things, and
Oh yeah, I'm excited for this.
there are. Last year we saw great. Did you ever see Revenge?
Oh yeah, we saw Revenge.
Love
yeah.
Revenge. Yeah,
She's-
that was great.
She's getting
Yes.
bigger jobs. I don't know. You remember the twins, the Soska twins, the Soska
Yeah,
sisters?
yeah.
They started writing for Marvel Comics now.
Really?
They're writing the new Black Widow right now. So like you're seeing a lot of like it's baby steps, but it's awesome
getting
that
there.
female inclusion. And I personally, I've never been a huge. I mean, when we were young, you see the hot chicks in horror films and all that, but now you look at it and it's like it's starting to feel very dated, because they're not. I don't think they're represented well, and even guys. There's a lot of fucking doofuses. It's like you watch these movies, and you're like, I wouldn't behave that fucking way. So what makes them think that the women would behave that way? It's weird. It's weird how humans are represented. But hopefully this will lead to more authentic representation in film and art. I do think Suspiria is a good step in the right direction, no matter how misguided it might be in some parts.
Yes.
So this has been our Suspiria episode. And just out of curiosity, see, if we were to do another podcast, what would you ever want to talk about concerning horror films? Anything?
I mean, I'd be down for Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah.
The Hannibal world.
Yeah,
Of the
Hannibal.
Silence of the
Hannibal
Lambs.
world.
I'd be down for that
Absolutely.
too. Here,
Sounds
Or Alien. I'm really into Alien.
We were talking about the alien. We
Yeah.
were talking about an alien.
Yeah. I can do
Yeah.
that one too. Shit.
Okay.
Yeah. Get back to me. I've got ideas.
This is your guys' second time doing this.
I know. And I
Yay.
really enjoy I'm having a lot of fun.
Me too.
Yeah.
You want to do more?
I want to do more. Absolutely.
And you guys got to do it with Hector.
I know.
Hector in the building.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very happy.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Yes.
So yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us. Yes, absolutely.
So this is episode 5 of The Horror Strain. I think our next episode will be, hopefully we can sort something out for Happy Death Day to You. Comes out this week. I like that for you. Watched? I told you to watch that one. Right? Happy Death Day. Did you watch it?
Yeah.
You
No,
liked
I
it,
did.
right? It was
I
alright.
liked it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
surprised
good.
you watched it. Surprisingly, I didn't think it was gonna. I didn't think that movie was gonna be shit.
It was very
Didn't want to watch
surprising.
it, and I was like, well, it's smart.
No, because like she comes off as annoying, but she's really not. Like
Yeah.
she plays that character really well. So it's
It was
simple too.
yeah.
Simple to the point.
All right, let's save this for another podcast.
This is what I do. It's a lead in.
Come on.
But yeah, we still got Happy Death Day to You, and then a few weeks later is Pet Sematary, which is I am incredibly excited about Pet Sematary. I hope
No
they don't let me
expectations
down.
over here.
I'm excited.
I'm pumped. But yeah,
Only up in mind.
this has been episode 5 of The Horror Strain, Suspiria, Dario Argento and Luca Guadagnino.
All right.
All right, we'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.